I went and had therapy and coaching and healing and all that stuff, found it absolutely amazing, and decided that's what I want to do for everyone else. So that's been my journey really for the last 17 years, is helping children as well as adults, because I think they're highly important. They're our future caretakers of our world, and if we can help them with great role models, being us, as well as helping them with any of their emotional distress, they're going to grow up in a better way than we did.
Hi everybody, it's Robert here from Coffee with Robert, and welcome to this episode. We've got a very special guest with me this week, Denise Davis. Harmonise your I'm going to start that again. I need the coffee, see? I need the coffee. We'll go again. Okay. It happens to the best of us. Right. Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to Coffee with Robert. I've got a very special guest with me this week, Denise Davis. Harmonise your heart, coach, speaker, author, wonderful person. I've been really excited about this call. I know we're going to have a lot of fun, and I know there's going to be a lot of energy. And I also know there's going to be some real nuggets of inspiration and wisdom dropped along the way. So hopefully you'll stick with us until the end of the show, and it'd be great to have your company. Denise, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me, Robert. I've got my water instead of my coffee, but it's all good.
No worries, no worries. No, well, it's great to have you here. Listen, the way I normally start with things like that is I kind of say to my guests, could you just take 5 minutes to talk about you, where you've come from, where you are right now with your business and your plans for your life and stuff, and where you see yourself maybe in 5 or 10 years from now.
Wow, well, hopefully in 5 or 10 years now, I'm still here. I'm 65 coming up in May. So I reckon I've got a good 20 years ahead, left. So as my adult career was a primary school teacher. I was with my husband for 32 years and we had 4 delightful children, and he fell out of love with me and in love with someone else. So that culminated in our divorce, and that was just when I was about 49, coming up 50. And that must have been before then. Anyway, it's just semantic states. I was quite devastated. So I initially was quite organised, and then I just went into complete overwhelm. I didn't know how to be single. I didn't know how to do a lot of things, because as an older generation, there were more things rooted in the females did this, the males did that. So I ended up obviously having to be both. And what I did find for me, what only ever works for me when I have a lot of stuff to do, is to do one thing at a time. I can focus on one thing at a time, stay focused and not go into overwhelm if I just concentrate on doing that specific task and then the next one. So it's really about prioritizing which needs to be done first. So that really led me to change my career from primary school teacher, which I was becoming quite disillusioned with anyway, to a coach, because I went and had therapy and coaching and healing and all that stuff, found it absolutely amazing, and decided that's what I want to do for everyone else. So that's been my journey really for the last 17 years, is helping children as well as adults, because I think they're highly important. They're our future caretakers of our world. And if we can help them with great role models, being us, as well as helping them with any of their emotional distress, they're going to grow up in a better way than we did, because they're going to be more self-aware. They're going to have more emotional resilience than we were ever taught. So that's what I've been doing. And during lockdown was when I had the time to finish my book, which was great. I'm just going to do a quick plug. So there's my lovely book. I know it's back to front. I'm not quite sure how to change that. And that's available on Amazon. And in the book, again, it's about my story and adversities throughout life, which we all have, everybody does. But the point of writing the story was so that people could resonate with some of the issues that I've grown up with. And then realize that actually, do you know what, we can overcome all of that, because I have, and I've created a great life down here in Dorset. And after so many years, why would we keep all that knowledge to ourselves? So in the book, there's questions to enhance your self-awareness. There's some processes to help if you are feeling in distress. Where do I see myself? Well, it's interesting because in the book I wrote that just before 60, I moved down to Dorset, which I absolutely love and adore. I've lived here for 6.5 years, and it was a dream for about 38, 40 years to be here.
Mm-hmm.
However, with the advent of the coronavirus, I mean, my family has always been important to me, but I wanted to fulfill my dream at 60, because I felt that if I didn't live my life for me, then when would I? And our life is obviously a gift for us, not necessarily for everybody else. Mm. However, with the coronavirus and my children being quite compliant with all the rules has meant that I haven't seen my grandchildren very much. They live 3 hours away from me, so to just go up and do an hour in the park isn't always that viable, particularly in the winter when the weather's been really atrocious. So I'm actually in the process of packing up my lovely home and leaving the area to move closer to family. Because what happened, I was out walking one day and I thought, this is absolutely divine, you know, this is heaven where I'm living. I've got people who get the unusual, eccentric me, you know. So I've met lots of like-minded people who are in the spiritual world, self-development and all of those sort of things. But I thought, if I was to get a diagnosis, which I haven't and I won't, but if I was given a diagnosis that I only had 6 months to live, what would I do? Would the forest and the sea cut the mustard? Would the wonderful friends I've got be my priority? And it made me realise that actually, no, the only place I would want to be, if that was the case, would be right close to family. Gosh, that's brought up some issues for me.
Loving it.
So from that, I just thought, oh, well, that's where I need to be then. Yes, I do love it here. And there were tears about leaving, but now I'm just excited because I think, well, it's another new adventure. You know, and I will have that precious time with my little Liz, which I think is good, because again, my children aren't necessarily on a similar path to me, so they do think that I'm a bit of a Fruit Loop, which is fine, but my grandkids actually love it. So maybe that's my path, is so they've got a balance. They know some of the spiritual side and some of the normal side. So yeah, I really don't know what will happen over the next 10 years, but I'm really excited to see the outcome of, I'm trying to be very careful about the language that I use, because as a clinical hypnotherapist, I know that we can program people with our words. Sure. But at the moment, I feel that we're undergoing some quite challenging times for people. You know, we're having a lot of our constraints removed, and we don't know when they will be changed because laws keep being brought in. And it feels like to me that some of our human rights are being invaded. But I like to focus on the positive, that all the systems that haven't been fitting for us as a society in the UK, like the banking, the education, all the systems, the great thing is, if they are breaking down because they no longer fit us, then what a fantastic opportunity to create wonderful systems that actually fit for us now. A lot of these systems have been in place for hundreds of years that haven't evolved with us. And I'm particularly talking about education, because that's the field that I was in all those years ago, and I still do have some connections there. So I do see it quite as a positive thing, even though it may not feel like that right now. I always believe that love will win. Love and light does win. But it's not an instant thing. So it's a question of having patience, sending love out into the world to anyone and everything that needs it, including Mother Earth herself, because she's undergoing some changes as well. So I do feel quite positive, actually.
That's good.
Woohoo.
It's really good. It's weird though. When you were talking about, you know, everything's got a kind of equal and opposite effect, positive effect. Okay, hasn't it? It has. If you look for
Yeah.
it, if you're programmed to look for it, you'll find it. And it occurs to me, and I'd like your feedback on this. It occurs to me that perhaps that happened as happy as you thought you were in Dorset, when you did that wonderful exercise, which is very powerful, when you say to yourself, if I had 6 months to live, it's something we don't want to think about. But if you force yourself to think about that and think, how would that change the way I'm living my life and the decisions I'm making right now? Would I be doing things exactly the way I am? In your case, it was no. So what it's actually done is it's actually helped you to uncover what's actually more important to you and more aligned with who you are on an inner level. It's that kind of, you know, we all run around on this surface level and we all spend a lot of time reprogramming our subconscious mind. But the thing is, with our subconscious mind, that's very powerful. And I teach people how to do that. So I'm sure you get involved in that stuff too. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
As you know, the subconscious mind through the reticular activation system has to keep going out and seeking evidence in the real world. Call it the real world. That's debatable. Anyway,
I'm with you.
I know you are. Here's the thing, though. It's when you can get past the subconscious to what I would call the superconscious, the God force, your connection with spirit, your source, the essence of who you really are. That's where faith resides. Faith doesn't require evidence to move forward. Faith is an innate knowing that you came into this world with, but learned to turn a blind eye to and got disconnected from. Once people get reconnected with that, it's like taking the brakes off their life. They can do 3, 4, 5 times as much stuff with their life, and none of it will feel like hard work anymore because you're in the flow rather than swimming upstream. And I kind of get a feeling from you that that's exactly what you've just done. You've gone from a place where there was almost a kind of semi-alignment with who you are that was kind of connected a little bit to logical thought processes. But what you actually did by going through that little process of the 6 months, if I had 6 months left, what it did, got rid of all that conscious logical thought, and you went back to trusting your gut, which never confuses anything with logic.
No,
So
it
it's
doesn't.
seldom
I
wrong.
always follow. Yeah,
Exactly.
I always follow my guidance system.
So, and my question to you is, after that rambling response, is how do you feel inside about that decision now you've made it? What changes have you been consciously aware of?
Well, it's more been practical, because obviously the minute I did that and I discussed it, well, I sat with it myself first, because it was such a shock. I wasn't expecting to even consider moving closer to family for another 10 years, if ever, because I do love it here and I have got like-minded people, which I haven't up there. You know, I have got family, but I haven't got the connections that I have down here. But once I'd sat with that and discussed it with the family, and they were really excited, absolutely over the moon, obviously the practical things came in. So it was coming back here, putting my house on the market, telling close people that I am leaving, and that was quite tough actually, because I'm quite a sensitive being, so I feel my feelings quite well. But I feel quite peaceful, is the honest answer, because obviously I believe that for some reason that idea came to me, that inspiration, when I was out walking for a purpose, to galvanize me to not be in this place, but to move somewhere else. So since then, I mean, thank goodness you cannot see my lounge, but I've got, you know, boxes stacked high. I'm moving in the middle of May, so my house is a complete pickle. But yeah, I just feel that I'm being quite constructive by moving and doing all that, because initially it's like, oh my God, do I want to do all that again on my own? Because it's quite a big thing. moving your own home completely on your own, doing everything alone. And I've done that before, and it wasn't such a great time last time because I had very short time limit to move. And it was a big house, and we'd had stuff in there for 40 years. And some of those emotions arose for me, bringing up a little bit of fear and goodness knows what. So I sat with that until that went, because circumstances are different. I haven't got 40 years worth of stuff in this house, and I've got slightly longer than 3 weeks to do it. But yes, I feel quite positive. So that's what I'm spending a lot of my time doing. I am still going out and taking walks and relishing the places that I love down here and the people that I'm spending the time with. But obviously, there is still a time constraint, so most of my time is taken with doing that. But I'm really quite looking forward to it, because it's taken some of the pressure off of me financially as well, because I've decided to downsize a little bit up there. Whereas if I did it here, that possibly would have prevented me ever going back. And that means that, my ethos of working from the heart, not working for money. Yes, we all need money, but I don't want to be needy about money. I don't want to be making any offerings from that wrong heart space. Well, it wouldn't be a heart space. It would be, I need some money, and I want to do everything for love. Yes, I do believe that I deserve an energetic exchange of money for my services, but I don't ever want to become that needy thing. So for me, this is another way that I can do that, by changing where I live and my home. So I am quite at peace, actually, because it's not as if there's huge demands. Once I've done this, then I can choose to do all sorts of things, but there will be no pressure on a financial basis, not for a few years anyway. So yes, I'm quite excited. Somebody said to me about she sees me writing a second book, and I said, well, I'm not feeling that right now. But there again, I was told to write a book for years and years and years by various mediums and other people, and I started, and there's quite a few still sitting on my desktop. But when the time is right, I get that inspiration and off I go. So again, if that's meant to be, it will, but it's certainly not now. My priorities are different right now. So, and I'm quite happy with that.
Ultimately, that's got to be the outcome for all of us, isn't it? That's got to be our overall life goal. It's just to be happy. As simple as it sounds, it's so difficult for a lot of people to get there. I applaud you, firstly, really, because what you've done is you've listened to that inspirational nudge from within. But instead of just listening to it and then questioning everything logically, what you've done is you've actually taken action. And what I love about that, and I want to make a point of this for anybody who's listening or watching, depending what format that you're hooked into, is that, you know what, it's okay to not have the answers. It's okay to take some action in faith and just see where you end up. Because if you sit on your backside and just think, well, I'm not going to do anything until I figured it all out, it'll probably
never do anything.
You'll never
no,
do it.
Wouldn't.
And normally, I'm sure you would agree with this, you will find the most powerful resolutions to the questions that you've got within yourself just by taking action. Even if you start off moving in the wrong direction, you'll very quickly find out and you'll figure out which way you should have gone. Whereas if you just sat and thought, no, I've got to figure this out, you'll never get enough data to make informed decisions to create the life and or business of your dreams. You just won't have it. And so it's so important to have this kind of forward momentum and keep gathering data. The universe gives us all clues. Keep listening, keep watching, but keep moving forward, and you'll get it.
Well, again, it was that being, I put the house on the market, and I said, if things are meant to be, I want to be in that particular area, in that particular place, and if it's meant to be, things will fall into place. And they did start to, and then it completely fell apart. And I thought, oh, am I still meant to be going up there? I'm not quite sure. So again, I just sat with everything, and then things fell into place, and my house sold on the Friday, and I found another one on the Sunday, and my daughter viewed it for me, and then showed me by FaceTime video, and then on the Sunday I ran up to see it. So yeah, and I just, I do have great faith in that, and that's how I moved down here for the same things. I get an inspiration, and I'm off. But when I don't have any inspiration or feelings or whatever you want to call it, I do nothing. So if ideas and things haven't come to me, or feelings to guide me somewhere, I don't do anything until I get that, because my guidance system, I think my internal feelings have always, and my intuition, all of that, because to me they're all wrapped up together, have always served me well. And when I've not followed that, and I've taken a logical path, even if it's only on a road in the car, shall I go that way or that way? And I've thought I should go that way, but I'm going this way. It's just, why did you do that? Because you find yourself going back and going the way that you initially thought you should.
Yeah, second guessing yourself all the time.
So I just think, well, I'm glad that, for quite a long time I've followed that, and I do have that faith. I do think that we are guided.
I want to jump in there as well, because it's, you were talking about how the move started to look like it was getting difficult, and you start to question, oh, maybe I'm not meant to go. I'm a great believer in this, because that happens to everybody. I don't care what you're doing. You'll have a path laid ahead of you, and things will be going swimming, and you think this is definitely this, and then suddenly things get a bit tough. And that's, I refer to that as kind of when we fall over, take the skin off our knees. And we've got, entrepreneurs do it all the time, of course. You've got a decision at that point. Do I stay down now? Just take this and just stay where I am and avoid maybe having this again? Or do we get up, brush ourselves off, and go again, which is the difference that really makes the difference in success. But I'm absolutely convinced of it, because I've seen it time and time again in my own life and working with clients and stuff like that, that the universe, or whatever you want to call it, the God force, the universe, that doesn't matter, but it has a habit of checking in to make sure that you've got the resolve and that you really do want it. It's like, hang on a minute, before I give you what you want, before I make this manifest in your life, are you sure it's what you want? So by making it difficult for a minute, some people will jump off and go, no, it's a bit difficult. I don't really want it that much. And others will go, oh, no, I want it, and they'll stick with it. And then you come out the other side and it gets even easier. And I'm sure that is just a test for all of us to get through.
I say the same thing. I quite often think that is a test, really, a test of our resolve and how much we do want whatever it is that we're pursuing. Yeah. And it's almost like a check, isn't it, for us?
Yeah.
And again, sometimes it's no, don't pursue that. But for me at the moment, it definitely is. Yeah. And I know that. So
that's good. I mean, the good thing is that you're far enough, and so many people aren't, but far enough along in your own personal development that not only do you recognize when you're getting a nudge, and that's the first step, is to actually recognize it, but you've got to a place where you feel you can trust it. And that's the key thing, that most people need help with that. And you're there. I'm clearly there. It's that when you get it, you recognize it, and secondly, you trust it. You trust it, and if you take action on it because you trust it, you manifest it. I seem to be bringing this up so often lately, but it's so relevant, I think, because all the talk is about law of attraction and stuff like that. And in the physical world, if you want things to show up in your physical reality, you have to do some stuff, as well as visualize, affirm, and project vibrations out there, right? More than that, you need to take some action. If you look at the word action, 10 letters, 6 of which make up the word action. Take action out of attraction, you've got nothing. So it's so important to, number one, recognize it. Number two, absolutely have faith in it and trust it. But then go to the next level and take some action on it. And again, that's where a lot of people don't. They let it go.
Well, I think if you don't take action, is all it is dreams then, really.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Absolutely.
And that's wonderful. But if you want to bring them to fruition, universe, God, creator, whatever you want to call it, isn't going to do that alone for you.
No.
We're supposed to be co-creators of our own life.
Exactly.
And that obviously means doing something.
Yeah. Be, do, have.
So, yeah.
Be, do, have, right? You've got to become more, which empowers you to be able to do more. And as a result of doing more, you'll get better, different results, more positive, show up. It's not rocket science. It's actually just 3 steps, really. But it's having that commitment to stick with it until the change becomes who you are rather than who you're trying to be.
Yeah.
It's your default setting. And then, oh, what a life it is. It's powerful stuff. And then you really step into the role of being a creator of your own circumstance. You can literally have anything you want, and you can create anything you want for other people too. It's tremendously powerful. But yeah, there you go. The challenge is to spread the gospel, because I want more people to realize their power, be able to step into their greatness and design a life that they love to live every day. That's what I'm passionate about. Strikes me you're passionate about exactly the same thing.
Yeah, we just go about it in different ways. And that's great, because, you know, not everybody's the same. So the fact that we vibrate on a different level means that we will bring different people. And the good thing about us this morning is you're a male, I'm a female. So we have different energies from our gender. We've got different energies anyway. So that will bring different people to your show. Whereas if you were just talking alone,
yeah,
you would only be capturing people that want your essence. Whereas with doing it with 2 of us means that, you know, we can catch quite a few more people, which is great.
Definitely right. I mean, you obviously know that one of my major things I deal with imposter syndrome amongst entrepreneurs and overcoming their limiting beliefs about themselves and stuff. And especially when I'm working with coaches and people in that space, I see a lot that they're always kind of comparing themselves to other people unfavorably, which is in turn breaking down, eroding their self-belief and all of that sort of thing. The thing is, though, everybody has a unique voice. If you can trust in your own uniqueness and the fact that that makes you special and buy into yourself rather than becoming a parody of somebody else, it's tremendously powerful. You and I could speak to an audience and give them exactly the same message. And some people in that audience will get it from you and not from me. And some others, it'll be the reverse. And that's why there's room for everybody to do their thing. All they've got to do is believe in themselves, really. So, yeah. Denise, I've loved this. I've loved it, but we've kind of got to, I can't keep you all morning. It wouldn't be fair to you, would it really? So, listen, before we wrap up, if anybody would like to connect with you and find out more about Denise Davis, what you're doing and everything else, where can they go to find out more and connect with you?
I suppose really I'm more active on Facebook than anywhere, but that's my personal page. I'm more active. I do have a business page, obviously, called Harmonise Your Heart, because that's my brand. That's not quite so busy, but you can get some good tips and ideas from there that will help your life anyway. I do have a website, but that is another project to be updating that, because that's really the content really needs an overhaul, but that's not one of my priorities right now.
Okay.
As I said, one thing at a time, and it's moving home. So that is www.denisedavis.co.uk. And obviously email. So that's denise@denisedavis.co.uk.
Brilliant. Denise,
I have got Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter and all those, but I don't use those so much.
That's okay. Just those main links will be fine. That'll be absolutely fine. We'll put them out underneath this video. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Good luck with the move. You won't need luck, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's some physical energy. Yeah. It is great. If you could put my book title under there, Robert. So it's Harmonise Your Heart the Badass Way. And it's available on Amazon at the moment. I obviously haven't been able to get into the shops because all the shops have been shut.
No worries.
So that's the next project.
Yeah, we'll pop that as well. We'll pop that underneath as well.
Brilliant.
All the
I've
best.
really enjoyed it.
Me too.
Yay.
Me too. And let's stay in contact. And who knows where we'll be in 6 or 12 months. Maybe we'll do it again. And you'll have a different story to tell again.
Yeah.
That's the joy of
Right.
life.
It certainly is. And to feel blessed, the fact that we are alive still.
Exactly right. That's right. Yeah. Be grateful for everything, each day at a time too. Yeah. Denise, it's been powerful. Thanks ever so much. I really appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you, darling. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
God bless. Bye.